hope we're all doing really well this evening, Tuesday, the 21st of October. Now, I didn't plan to do a show this evening because plans due to work plans, but plans have a great way sometimes of being changed. I just thought I would cobble together a show that I was sort of planning to do tomorrow morning, a show that I was sort of planning to talk about tomorrow, and I thought, why not bring it forward so we could do it tonight and just have a little talk about stuff tonight that's come out this evening. Let me know, guys. Let me know about your evening. If you've watched the Champions League, I've not watched any of the Champions League tonight. I did see that Arsenal were winning all one. Palace FTBO says hello, good evening. Hello, my friend. I hope you're doing extremely well. See, I can never get the light quite right in this room. It's sort of annoying at times. It's a little bit too bright there, but yeah. Anyway, if this is your first time to the channel, we do things slightly differently here. This is an evening show. I try to respect where we're cooked against Arsenal. Maybe, but all I'm going to say is this sounds a bit crazy, and people can say what they like. I think the Champions League is different to the Premier League. And what I mean by that is that I don't think at the moment, I don't think a lot of European football can handle the pace of the Premier League. I do think Arsenal, and that's not to take away from Arsenal, going against Atletico, who destroyed Madrid. That's not to say anything on them. But Palace, as we all know, you guys can have a result. So don't be too concerned just yet. But Arsenal are starting to look a bit like champions. So what we do here, as I said, is I do try to read out your chats. That's why these shows do take so long, because I respect your opinion. I hope you respect mine, respect the community. We don't mind banter in here at all, but as long as it is respectful, then absolutely bring it into the show. I made game week 9 predictions short and said United would win 2-1. Excellent. Well done, my friend. Is that game 9? So we're in game 8. So you're saying that we're going to win on the Brighton game. I think that's what you're sort of saying there. So yeah, so get into the chat. I've got my computer on because I wanted to get through some stuff on here as well this evening. So what I wanted to talk about tonight, really, and again, getting your chats and your opinions, even if you're a rival fan, let me know who you support tonight, and let me know your results. Rashford again scored, which is always good. For us, really, I can't believe that Barcelona were trying to get a cut price on him, as they always do. Dino Hughes says, hi, JB. Dino is a legend of the chat. I'm doing extremely well tonight. I wasn't planning on doing a show tonight, but plans have changed. I am here tomorrow. I'm going away the day after, though, so my plans have changed. I thought I'd come on tonight and just do a bonus show tonight with a couple of things that I've heard. So I just thought it'd be worth talking. So these late shows are a little bit different to the afternoon shows. This is your show, really. The evenings are for us to go down a rabbit hole at times. I'll bring in some stuff, and then we can just go off on a tangent and talk about all different stuff. So what I wanted to get into today was a couple of things. So Harry Maguire, Sean Dyche to Forest. I might do a short on it tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know how many views that you'll get on that. I don't know how popular Sean Dyche is. I don't know how, I almost feel like with the Sean Dyche thing, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong before I go off on the Maguire stuff. I almost feel like when Forest were becoming a relevancy again, and what I mean is that when Forest was starting to become, this team where you thought, actually, do you know what, they're going places. This time last season, I think they were in top 4 places all the way through to the end of the season, and then of course it didn't happen. And then I almost feel like they took so many strides forward. They're a big club. I mean, a massive club. Won 2 European Cups back to back. What a club. And then now I almost feel like again they're starting to push forward. And I almost feel like Sean Dyche is, and this is no disrespect to Sean Dyche, he's a guy that gets results. I almost feel like Palace took 5 steps forward and have taken 10 steps back. And I don't disagree that Dyche is probably right now. Is he the right guy? I don't know. I just would have thought that maybe they would have gone for Marco Silva. I think Marco Silva would have taken them places. I just feel that Sean Dyche is an admission of defeat, and I do mean that in the most respectful way. Like Sean Dyche, and unless I'm wrong, which I don't think I am on this occasion, give your opinion. The one thing I will say as well about opinions on here, just because I give an opinion doesn't mean I'm right. It's just my opinion. You guys have the right to come back and tell me if you think I'm right or wrong. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with your opinion, but it just means that we both get to put our opinions across. So for me, for Forest, and I'm glad that you brought that in as well, because I think that's a good topic of conversation to talk about in these shows tonight, is that Sean Dyche is as much as I like Sean Dyche, I think he's a good guy. I worry for Palace now. I would have thought a club of their ambition, the fact they nearly got into the Champions League, I would have thought they would have tried to push on and progress. I think Silva's got a release clause in his contract. I know he was with Marinakis at Olympiacos. I just would have thought they would have gone for somebody a bit more progressive. So it's an interesting one. If you want to go to sleep, watch the City game tonight. We were crap, send you to sleep. I might put that on after. I actually, whilst we're looking, and it is that sort of show tonight, guys. It is that, whilst I do have some topics to talk about, we can absolutely go off on a tangent, because I just want to check and update the scores live, and react to the scores live. So let's have a little look. Where are we this evening? So City won. So that was always good. Haaland scoring again. So I mean, I'll take your word on that one. I don't know. I didn't see any of the matches tonight. The fact that Newcastle PSG won 7-2. I did see some of that game. Well, I did see the sort of rumblings on that one. Newcastle won 3-0 as well. So I mean, this Champions League is Arsenal won, Newcastle won, City won. So it's, and Haaland is. I think Haaland, for club and country in his last however many games, he scored something ridiculous. Is it 16 or 17 in like 9 or 10? His ratio of goals is ridiculous. Haaland is an absolute monster. He's an absolute beast. So yeah, let me know your opinions. I think English teams this season are doing well. Danny B, big up JB, big up Danny B. Hope you're doing extremely well this season. So Harry Maguire. So there's 2 sources on this. Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail, and Fabrizio. So there were two things that I saw today. So Fabrizio Romano basically coming out and saying the actual deal hasn't been done yet. So they're starting conversations on the Maguire contract now. Nothing, and to bear this in mind, Maguire had a 6-year deal. So we thought in our wisdom that we were going to give Maguire, well, we gave him a 6-year deal and £192,000 a week. And that is now done. So that extension that he had on that deal, we activated it. So this is this 6th year. So any new deal now would be a brand new deal. So he wouldn't go into another year and 192k a week. Kane, Elise, Diaz, the best front 3 this season. over other than Mateta, Pina, and Sarr. Amazing. You know, I think Bayern Munich are a great side, but we'll come on to that in a second. So Maguire, so any new contract would be brand spanking new. This is not a year's extension. This is a brand new contract. Now, I thought, and I did say during the Liverpool game, I would never have thought that. I never have thought that you were biased, my friend. And you should be biased. You should absolutely be biased. Champagne legend, my friend. United is back. Oh, Champagne. Jesus, mate. Come on now. Come on now. I really hope that's tongue in cheek. Honestly, didn't see your vision when you said Amarin in. See, look, right. It still doesn't mean that I'm right, Champagne. It still doesn't mean that I'm right. Right? Doesn't mean that I'm correct. It just means that, look, we're starting to head in the right. Amarin's starting to do the right things. It doesn't mean that I'm right. Let's have this correct, right? Is that just because I believe in something doesn't mean that I'm right. I can see what he's trying to do. I just believe in certain things. Doesn't mean that I'm right. You're a cold dude. I know it doesn't mean he's right, but it's crazy that you saw something in him and others wrote him off fully. It's not just me. Champagne, I'd love to be the foreseer and go, like it was all me. And I said this to plenty of people on this channel as well. But again, I can absolutely see why people still want him out. I can see why people do, but I just think you have to be true to yourself. Well, you have to absolutely be true. And I've watched football for a very, very long time. And there's certain characteristics and there's certain things that you can see. Now, I may be proved ultimately to be wrong. Blue Moon Tiger. Yeah, I'll come back to your message. So not being funny, mate. But you've seen PSG, Madrid, Bayern when they are 1-0 up, they go and finish teams off. Villarreal put up their chances away. It could end up 2-2. Yeah, I don't know. English teams at the moment, I think overall, I think the reason why English teams do seem to be doing well against the likes of Benfica or the likes of those sorts of teams is because I do think the Premier League is stronger. But what I will say is I think that the individual top teams of each league are very, very strong. PSG are very, very strong. Leverkusen, Alonso's gone, so I get it, but I think that when I say that our league is the best, I say it's the most competitive, which I think it is. But that's not to take away from the likes of Bayern Munich, right? PSG are good, but let's be fair, they played Leverkusen, who basically lost half their squad and their coach. I'm not taking that away from them. So Barcelona still have to go and finish teams off as well. So I think you're right. I think that the top teams in like the Spanish league, French league, German league are comparable to the top teams in ours, and I think you're right. I think they do finish teams, but I think the best of the rest is not as good as our league. I've been a Palace fan for 9.5 years. It's that 2008 kit. I see. Yeah, it is, my friend. It is that 2008 kit. No, it's not 2008. It is 2013. This one. This is the 2013 kit. This one. This is This is the 2013 kit. I can see Stiller coming to United. Any edit ideas? I'll do any player, any manager. I think you should do an Amarin one. I think you should do an Amarin one because I can imagine all of the touchline stuff. I think would be an interesting one to do. Blooming Tiger says, how can other fan want him out when you're already 2 points behind Liverpool? Yeah, I mean that's a subject for another time. Amarin out in that. I'm not going to do that one tonight just because let's go to Brighton and then we'll have that conversation, or let's shift the Amarin conversation towards the end because I want to talk about the Brighton game as well. Wise fan, good evening. I think Maguire should get another deal, another year, and not because of his heroics. The Fergie farewell kit, yes, it is. It is. I was actually at the last home game, so that was cool. So, Dino says Premier League is the best league, but individual teams, Bayern Munich, Barca, are better than most of the. Yeah, I think that when you're looking at those top teams, I do think that they are competitive. I do think that they would. I wonder though. My question to you guys would be: could the likes of Bayern Munich, Barcelona, PSG, how well would they do in our league? And what I'm saying is not these one-off games. Could they do it every single week? Could they do a Brighton? I don't think that Barcelona would know what to do with a Burnley. I don't think they'd know what to do. I imagine a Barcelona or a Bayern Munich going to like a Burnley and like a wet November night. It would be interesting. I would love to see that. We won't see it, but of course we won't. Champagne says Maguire is one of the biggest impact players in the world now. He's definitely far from the most complete, consistent, but he's a good figure in the locker room and a clutch dude. Wise United fan says Brighton is unusually our bogey team and Welbeck is our nemesis. He scored twice at the weekend and he just loves scoring against us. PSG now, yes, Barca may struggle with the physicality of certain teams. Interesting. So Maguire. So I'll tell you where the sources are from, and then again I can give you my opinion. This is your show, but I will give you my opinion on it as well. So Maguire, should Maguire get a new deal? So Fabrizio is saying that there is a contract on the table. They are in active negotiations. This would be a whole new contract for him. But he does specify the money does have to be right. There is no way he's getting anywhere near 192k a week. So I think there are blocks there. And how long would he want the deal for? Now Chris Wheeler basically contradicts that and says actually there is no new contract at the moment. They've not even negotiating. There's nothing on the table. There is nothing talking about, but I do think that there is a good conversation to have here. Champagne says Bayern would have won a bunch of leagues, maybe unbiased. Barcelona would win one at max. PSG wouldn't have ever won, not consistent enough. Madrid would win quite a few. 7 bloody flipping 2 against PSG. This is assuming these teams are given a decade or two. If Maguire goes to the Saudi Pro League, would sign him. So I think there is a legitimate discussion to be had here, and I think where I'm at on this is I think that, and I've got to be consistent. Dino says the club need to stand firm on Maguire contract, offer him X amount, and say take it or leave it. I'm with you on that. And what I've said, and I remember the things that I say, and I have to be consistent. I've said what I want in this team are leaders. I want people with the right mentality. I don't want passengers. So what I mean by that is if you can contribute to the team and you can actively contribute to the team, and I'm not just talking about standing on like the sidelines. When you come on, if you play for this club, I don't care if you're 34, 18, so as long as you come into the squad and you're there for a reason and you're there for a purpose. I don't have any. I never have anything on the back of my shirt. So I would give Maguire another year. I would take it on a year by year basis. I would do what we did with the likes of Scholes. I would do with the likes of what we did for Giggsy, and I would give him a year's contract. And I think you're right in the chat. I think he can be a good impact player. What he showed against Liverpool, what he can do is he can offer you that when you're playing in that low block and you're playing there. I think he can absolutely do some stuff there. I think he's absolutely sound there. He's not the future. When you need a goal or two, you stick him in the box. his heading is fantastic. So I think he's worthy of at least another year's deal. I would give him a year, but I think, as you said, I think it has to be, absolutely has to be, a much lower contract. And if he doesn't want to sign it, we don't buckle. And if he doesn't want to sign it, then he can go. But I would absolutely give Maguire another contract. Hood Poetry says, what are your thoughts on the new tactic of kicking long all the time? Noticed it against Sunderland and Liverpool. So what it is, the tactic really is more about getting out, right? So if you're playing, so I think the Sunderland game, ironically, was in preparation for this game. So what I mean is that, imagine, so he knows he's going to go to Liverpool, and you know you're going to have to play a low block, and you're going to have to counter, right? How do you get out? How do you get out of a low block, or when you're on the counter attack? How do you basically get up the pitch? And the best way to do that is to pump that ball long and try and win the first ball, and then try to win the second ball to get out. And I think that's what that was. I think the Sunderland performance was us practicing that. I think that what you will see against Brighton, for example, and I'm not saying that this is the way that we should do it, is we'll play higher up the pitch, so we don't need to win as many second balls. And I think that's basically what you saw in possession. We would, try to move the ball as quickly as we can, and try to move up that pitch as quick as we can, move the ball extremely quick. Then when we lose the ball, we transition back, we all get back. And then because Liverpool are so, they're so good at that, they smother you. As we saw, they're really, really good at passing. And then how we then get out from that is we get that ball long, win that first ball, second ball, and then we can move out. So I think that tactic of kicking the ball out and winning that first and second ball is all about getting away from that Liverpool high press, and trying to then get back on the ball and get out and start the counter attack. So I don't think we're going to see that all of the time. I just think that was basically the plan. Scott says, "What's good, JB? Bonus show tonight, my friend." As I said, I wasn't planning on doing one tonight, but plans change. So I thought I'd do a little cheeky show. United fan says, I wouldn't offer him the captaincy though after Bruno or De Ligt should be captain. He's not going to get the captaincy. Usman said, you reckon Arsenal will win either the league or the Champions League? It's too early to tell. It's too early to tell. It really is early. I know Arsenal won, but you can argue PSG went away to Leverkusen. As much as Leverkusen have lost their manager, as much as they've lost a lot of the best players in their team, people don't go there and win 7-2 by luck. Barcelona 6-1. They're doing extremely well. Bayern Munich. So I think Champions League is hard. You don't know injuries wise. So I think all I'm going to say on that, Usman, is that I think that Arsenal was setting themselves up. Gyökeres scored a couple of goals tonight as well, so that will boost his confidence. So I think Arsenal are making all the right moves. I think Arsenal are making all the right noises. They're looking at the moment like probably the most established, which they should do, which I think they absolutely should do. So I think Arsenal are in contention. It's too early. For me, it's too early. I think they've put themselves into a really, really good position in the league, and that's for everybody else to basically catch them. Champions League, I think they've got a good shot. Do I think they're equipped to win it? I don't think so, but they're going to give themselves a chance. West Ham missed their chances to sign him. They did. Arsenal will not win the Champions League. I've seen people calling us Leicester 2006. I don't agree. No, you're going to get all sorts of things now. Like one win is one win, right? And I think people are getting carried away with a singular win. And we can talk about the Brighton game, and we will get on to that as well. I said before, kick it long works against centre backs. It does. What was the score against Arsenal? It was 4-0, I think it was. Somebody can correct me if I was wrong, but I think it was 4-0 in the end. This is very unlikely. Liverpool last season, they just ran away with the league. This season, well, I don't know what has happened to them. Good Jay, frugal boy to you as well, my friend. Important question is, though, will we build on the last two results, and will Amarin stick to the style of football or revert back to before? Okay, let's talk about the Brighton game, and then we can talk about the Stiller stuff afterwards. Arsenal will always drop off. They always do, says Scott, and they are the bottle jobs. Can they maintain it this season, Scott? And I think you're right. History says that they will fall off. They'll crumble under the pressure, particularly when City are chasing them down. Let's see. So Brighton, I did have a list of all the results. I don't know where they are now. In fact, I'm going to see if I can try to find it as well on screen, so we can talk about that. Let's have a little look at this. Last 8 results between Man United and Brighton. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so I did have this before. So, going all the way back to 2022. Okay, so 2022 February, United won. May 2022, Brighton won 4-0. 7th of August 2022, Brighton won 2-1. 4th of May 2023, Brighton won 1-0. 16th of September 2023, Brighton won 3-1. May 2024, Brighton, we won 2-0. And the last two games, Brighton won 2-1 and 3-1. So the bogey team, I think they are the bogey team. And my question, and I think this is the absolute pertinent question here. Dino says, the Brighton game, I think it will be a draw, and the Forest game, we will win. This is where I'm at, right? So I don't believe in changing your mind in one game. I still know what this team is. I still know what this team is capable of and not. We've seen this time and time again. We've seen this one win against a big team, and everybody says that we're back. This has to be the Liverpool game, has to be the catalyst. It has to be now where these players believe that they can go on and win the next game and the next game and the next game. Now, I did see something different. For the first time, I've watched a lot of games, and I saw the City game and, the FA Cup final, and we beat City in the past, but I think this was different. I really believe that this was a different Liverpool game. Now, for the first time in a long time, I actually think we'll beat Brighton. I'm with Scott. I think we win. I think we beat Brighton. I think that we will beat Forest, and I think we'll draw to Spurs. For the first, that game has given me belief. Now, I am one of the most pessimistic. Not pessimistic, but I'm very much logical. I base what I think on the past and what I can see. This team is capable of anything. This team is capable of another Grimsby, of another Fulham, is capable of a Liverpool and Arsenal. You never know what you're going to get. But I did see something different in this team. And I think being at home, and I do think that we're going to win this game. For the first time in a long time, I'm going to hesitate on this. I do think that we'll win this game. I still think we'll have our moments. I still think that it's still not going to go all of our way, but I do think that we will beat Brighton. I also think we'll go to Forest and win at Forest. And then the question will be then, can we go to Spurs? Now, I know Scott is very, very confident on this one. Wise United fan says, we can beat Brighton this time. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Beat Forest. Everyone has done so far on a draw against Spurs. The kid waiting for United to win 5 in a row so he can cut his hair. Must be crossing everything. Dino, he's going to cross it, mate. That kid needs to just cut his hair. I mean, it's ridiculous. We will win our next 3 games. Arsenal, City, Liverpool will all drop points at least 3 against each other, and we'll get in touch to the top 4. John Fire says, Dino, a long way to go still. It is. All we can do, I think, all we should be doing, and I think even the best teams and the most successful teams, take each game as it comes. Dino, it's like you just, it's one game at a time. Fergie used to do this, and I know people seem to hark back to Fergie when it suits them. Right? I'll always say this: there are lessons that you can learn from the past. Liverpool did it. Liverpool have said it. John Fire says, thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. As Dino says, you can only play what's there. And I think we are seeing some adaptation in Amorim's formation, his system. I'm not going to go too much into that. I know that's a very emotive topic for some people, but we are starting to see something in this formation. Amorim still doesn't have his players, and I'm still going to be. I've been banging that drum all season. I'm still going to bang that drum. But what we are seeing, I think, finally, is we are seeing players who are starting to play for the manager. They know this coach is going to get time. And I think they know that their heads are on the block for the simple fact that basically Ineos are getting shit. Ineos are getting the flack. And there's no way that Ineos are going to be called names. There's no way that Ineos are going to be, have the fingers pointed at them. So where does the blame lie for them? And obviously the blame is going to lie with the players. And Amorim can't fail. He can fail, but in Ineos's eyes, he can't fail. He is their guy. And if he fails, then they fail as well. We are more focused this time. We have a good keeper, 200 mil of talent on the pitch. Things are gradually picking up. The only way is up. Dino, that's the biggest positives from the last few results, is he showed that he can adapt. Score for the weekend, guys. Ollie H. Glazers out. I love it. Jim Wancliffe. I love it. Score prediction for the weekend. I think we win. I think we do a 3-1. I'm going to say 3-1 to us. I think we win. I think we come out at home. I think the crowd will be buzzing for the first time. So if you are a match game fan, I'd love to know the atmosphere there. I think we go, and I think we win 3-1. I do. Scott 4-2 as well. I think we win. I think we get not a comfortable win, but I think we're going to see a performance again. And then I think if we do that, it's 3 wins on a bounce. And then I think we can go to Forest, and I think that we can beat those as well. And then if we come out with a win against Liverpool, a win against Brighton, a win against Forest, and a draw against Spurs, that in itself sets up a potential for some good stuff. So we've got to take it there. I think we win 3-1. I'm gonna put my head on the block. I'm gonna trust Amorim. I'm not gonna trust these players just yet. I do trust some of these players, not them all. So I'm gonna for the first time in a long time say I think we'll win. Maybe we get a flattering 3-1 because I think we can go out there, and I think we can score 3 goals. So that's what I think we'll do. I think we'll win. I think we'll have maybe a flattering 3-1. I still don't think we're there yet, but I think we can go and have a good win. Scott says if we can get top 4 by Christmas, I think it gives us a slight chance of a charge towards the end of the season. And I agree, Scott. Look, I predicted about 10th, right? Based on the performances, based on what I saw in pre-season, based on everything that I've seen. As I said, I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy. If my prediction of 10th is so far out and we finish 4th, I'm happy to be wrong. At the time, I will always maintain that I was correct. But I'll be happy to prove wrong. I've been this manager in, I've been this coach in, and you've been here. Like the Grimsby game, there's many games, and I've said, look, I know why I'm him in. So even just from that perspective, I'll be so happy if we can get a 4th, because ultimately then Amorim has been proved right, and then Ineos have been proved right as well, and then Sir Jim have been proved right. Because then at the end of the season, what they can then do is say, if we finish 4th, the recruitment wasn't perfect, but then the recruitment was right, and then I can then hold my hands up and say, well, actually, do you know what? The recruitment was good at the time. But you can only really judge recruitment of players at the end of a transfer window. IH says, I'd love to see that many goals. I'd go 3-0 if we can keep Welbeck away from my goal. Possibly Dyche will be Forest manager, but then he's already the manager, I think. I do want to see Shesko start. Ollie H, I think you will. What are your thoughts on Shaw? I was certain we should have sold him, but he plays like prime Roberto Carlos. Usman, I don't know what game you were watching, mate, because Luke Shaw was not that. Luke Shaw was not that. He was, in my opinion, the Gakpo goal, he was nowhere near him. He should have been a player of that experience. Should have been. I thought Luke Shaw played okay in that low block because Luke Shaw's got no pace. There was that ball played through the middle. It's not necessarily his fault, but that pivot was non-existent, and Luke Shaw again gets exposed pretty much every game. There was a couple of balls over. There was about a 10-minute spell in that game where they targeted him because he's got no pace, and down that side they targeted him the whole game. Well, for at least probably 15 minutes. Luke Shaw, people. There's this player FC, and I get it, right? I will say that Luke Shaw had a decent game. Doesn't mean I think he was good. Luke Shaw for me has to go. Luke Shaw is stunting the development of younger players. People, I get more messages about Luke Shaw than any other player because people are just like, he's our best defender. He's this and that. He really isn't. He gets exposed multiple times a game. He's got no pace. Where Luke Shaw is very, very good is when he's got time and he can get to a player, he's very good at tackling in terms of if he's facing up a player and you can slow that player down, he's pretty good at that. Any pace, any ball behind, he's shite. I don't see the fascination with Luke Shaw. I don't. I respect people's opinion 100%, but I watched him through pre-season. I watched him up to this point, and I'm not impressed. I understand that Amorim wants a safe pair of legs or hands, but Luke Shaw is not for me. We generally only need to score 2 goals. Just love to get more goals. I've always said top 5 JB. Yes, you have, Scott. And again, mate, I love Scott is the antithesis to me. I am very much a not a doomsayer, but I just don't see how you can go from 15th, 16th in the league, be that bad, and then go up to 5th. Particularly with the same squad, the majority of the same squad. But I'm happy to be proven wrong on this. We still have only won 2 games on the bounce. Let's not forget that we haven't won the next game yet. We still need to go to Forest. We still need to go, we still need to play Spurs. So I'm still on that train of, maybe my paradigm has shifted slightly, and maybe my meter has moved maybe from 10th to 9th or 8th. But right now, until I see consistency and until we get to Christmas time, I'm not going to move away. I can't move away from that 10th, 9th, because we need that consistency. Dean says, I still fear we have those bad days in 2-2 and still concede silly chances. I agree. Top 7 seems possible. Dino says top 6. I think, look, if you were to go on it right now, we're up there. We are up there. What we need now is a performance. We need Brighton. Like Liverpool in isolation is a cracking result, right? But it literally means nothing. It means shit all if we don't win the next game. And that's the problem, is you win these games, then can you do it again? Can you go and win the next game? And that for me is my sticking point. If I knew that we could go on a run and be consistent right now with this team and these players, and from what I saw, I'd say, yeah, I think we can get into this top 5 and 6. But I don't feel we haven't. So I think from here, anything's possible. I think anything is possible, and I think that is probably the crux of it. Really, is it's so difficult to call. Dina says that top 4 is a big ask. Wise fan says we win the next few games. I can see Amrin last in the whole season and hope we have a good January window. Regardless of opposition team we play, just watch the watch along for JB's thoughts on Shaw. Just watch the watch along for JB's thoughts on Shaw. He's just not for me. Yoro instead of Shaw every day of the week. My message to players: Lenny Yoro, Managerial, Harry Maguire, Mason Mount. I have a plan for training. Let's not concede more than 1 goal per game. That would help. If the defence is rubbish, it doesn't matter how good the attackers are. I agree with that. Is Shaw due a testimonial yet after his services to the club when he stays fit? Shaw is dog shit. Scott, I agree with you. Wise fan, in my opinion, with the amount of money that we've paid Luke Shaw to sit on his fucking arse over the last however many years, he's more than been paid. He will get one. He will get one. But the amount of times he's been injured and sat on his fucking arse and done nothing, I think he's already been paid enough money. Mr. F says, no, he's not, Scott. Mr. F, I agree with Scott. I think both of those are shit, to be honest with you. I think those two are not the future. I think the pair of them have to go. Goal for Dad says, best left back we have had since ever. Dorgu couldn't lace Shaw's boots. And again, just because I have an opinion on Luke Shaw doesn't mean I'm right. It's my opinion on it, right? And I fully respect people's opinions on it. I don't think Luke Shaw, prime Luke Shaw, when Luke Shaw was fit, I would agree with you. Luke Shaw was a fantastic player. And then when he came back and when he's left centre-back, he was arguably one of the best left centre-backs in the league, Europe even. I would not argue that. At the moment, is Dorgu as good as Luke Shaw was? No, he's not. And I will even concede that argument. But what I'm saying is Luke Shaw should now not be getting into this team. I'm not talking about old Luke Shaw. I'm not talking about Luke Shaw when he was actually properly fit, had a bit of pace about him, was actually good. This version of Luke Shaw is not. And I will not be moved on that. Doesn't mean I'm right. And I don't expect people's opinions to change on that. I will agree on your points that Luke Shaw at one point was one of the best left backs. I also agree that when he came back and he changed to left centre back, he was one of the best left centre backs. It's nothing personal with Shaw. He's been out for a long time. He's come back and he's not the Luke Shaw that he was. And in my opinion, he's a very, very expensive. He's a very, very expensive player who's not as good. And he actually stifles the centre backs that we have in this team. He gets skinned at least 4 times a game. His positional sense is totally shit. With Dorgu, it doesn't work. And I even concede that Dorgu at the moment, is he as good as Prime Luke Shaw? No, he's not. Can Dorgu be good? Possibly. But Luke Shaw is not Luke Shaw anymore. He's a shadow of his former self. I think Forrest beat us on our last meeting. Shaw is a in Golford says Deloitte is awful. Forever loses his man. Also switches off at the back post. I've got no comeback for that. I completely agree with you. Again, I think he's friends. He's Portuguese friends. I think that's exactly what he is. Marco glazes out. We're gonna win versus Brighton. I hope so. Would rather a 1-0 than a 3-2. Ray Pennybody says only one United, and that is Newcastle. Oh, come on, Ray. Come on, Ray. It's not, is it? It's not, mate, is it? United, when anybody talks about United, everybody on the fucking planet knows who it is. It's not Newcastle. And it's no disrespect, mate. Your club is a proud, historic, massive club. Right, you've got some of the richest owners. I think you're doing fantastically well. Good luck to the season. But I'm sorry. United, everybody knows on the planet who you're talking about. And it's not the Geordies, my friend. It's not. Let's show we can defend. We're carrying too many players to be consistent. I agree about the Liverpool result. Things can only get better. Would be the most Man United thing to do now after the weekend. Lose at home to Brighton. Goal for Dad, 91. I agree with you, mate. It would be. It really would be. So, Jackie, all right, mate. Well done. The result on the weekend. Thank you, sir. Legend, and thank you, my friend. Opus for health. I take the top 6, but realistically, top 8 is a must. I agree with you. I think even though I'm still on about 10th, where I agree now with this chat a lot now is one of the things I keep forgetting myself is we've got one game a week. We've got one game a week with these players. We should absolutely at a minimum be expecting Conference League football. And as much as that's pathetic to say, right? When in the hell would I be saying this, right? But I do think realistically, one game a week with this set of players, we should be realistically going for 6th. So whether or not I think that we will, but I'm starting to shift a bit and be like, do you know what? We actually should be with this squad, with the amount of games that we've only got to play. 100%. I think we should absolutely be shifting that needle and actually probably be demanding at least an 8. We should be top 6. Dina says Shaw will get a testimonial, but De Gea won't, and that is disgusting. I'm surprised Shaw hasn't got a parking space at the hospital with his name in it, an award. Exactly. Shaw's dead weight. That's a fair response about Shaw. I'll give you that. Yes, he's missed a lot of injuries, though. He's still the best left back at the club, in my opinion. And do you know what? I don't disagree with that. And I think the reason why I don't disagree with it is because it just goes to highlight and show the recruitment was that bad, that we're still relying on Luke Shaw. I don't disagree. Like, there is a reason, though, why Luke Shaw doesn't play left back is because he can't get up and down the pitch. I will agree with you. If we're talking about left back, there is a case that Luke Shaw is the best left back in terms of experience. Dorgu is better in terms of physicality, but Dorgu at the moment couldn't cross a road, right? But for me, the fact that we're even having this conversation just goes to show for me the recruitment was that bad that we're playing a Luke Shaw who is sad, who's Luke Shaw, who's he's a shadow of himself, and we've got Dorgu, who is, don't get me wrong, I think he can be good, but he's still a kid. So I think you make a good point, and I think it does highlight how bad the recruitment was. Shaw, since his leg break, has never recovered. I agree. Welsh fan says Shaw is just ballast. So Jackie, left back and right back is a dying position, the same as an out-and-out striker, with everybody wanting to play attacking football. It is, Jackie, and that's why I think Haaland is brilliant, because I think that's what Haaland is. I think, Kane you can argue is not, but Haaland is an out-and-out striker, and that's what I love about Haaland. I think Haaland is a proper old-fashioned out-and-out striker. Shaw has to trip over and he's off for months. Opus Health says surely when fit it will have to be De Ligt, Maguire, and Martinez when fit. Euro cover any of those positions. I'm scared. I'm scared of what you just said there, my friend. The opinion is your opinion. Euro. It has to be Martinez, Euro, and De Ligt. Maguire, mate, no. I respect the opinion. For me, De Ligt, Euro, Martinez. How old are you? Many years ago, everyone used to hate United because we just couldn't stop winning trophies. We were the team that every defender dreaded. We've not been like that for many years, my friend. People hate success, and in life, wise fan, and that goes for particularly in this country, right? Whenever you see somebody with a nice car, a nice house, nice clothes, a nice watch, people just automatically think, what a CUNT, right? That is what people think. We're not programmed in this country to admire success, because we're just not. And I think that the saying hated, adored, but never ignored for this club is absolutely right. But I think there's I admire success. I admire successful people. But I think you're right. People who have success, and that goes for clubs, that goes for fans, that goes for people in life. People don't like people that are successful. Do you think we started to see Ahmad's form coming back? Dina, I think Ahmad has been brilliant. I think what we're seeing is, we're seeing the evolution of Ahmad. I thought Ahmad was effing brilliant. To do that, and I hope he can take that and take it into the next game, because I thought Ahmad was brilliant. I'm hoping sometimes you get a game, you get a player, and then they click. And I'm hoping, because Ahmad I thought was brilliant. I really like that. So I'm hoping that this is now the start of him. Fellaini, Shesko, Frugal Boy, Amrin Trust Shaw. I think he does. Going to throw an unpopular opinion. Please do. I'm going to throw an unpopular opinion there out there whilst in my soapbox. Go on. We should have soaked Bruno if he was planning on using him in the CM alongside Casemiro and Wharton. Go for Dad. You've clearly not been here before, my friend, because I'm with you on that. I did a video months and months ago now, whereby I'm not a Bruno fan. I want him gone. Even now. I've always had the opinion that Bruno should have been sold. Before I knew he was going to be the number 10, I want him gone. He's not played well for 18 months. I still find him petulant. I think he unbalances the team. you can when you can get £100 million for a 31-year-old player who is not the future of this club, and you can take that money and you can invest it in the squad. Yes, I get, and we did speak about this today as well, that Bruno is intrinsically linked in the club. He's the club captain. He's everywhere. And I agree with you. I would have sold him. I would sell him now. I'd get him gone now. The only caveat to that is I would say, when I think about it again, would I get rid of him now? No, only because of the stability of the team. I think he needs to play for the season. But I'd absolutely get rid of Bruno. I would. I think sacrificing him for the greater good of the team. We have seen better players go than Fernandes. Fernandes is not up there with the likes of Beckham, Giggs, Kanchelskis, Schmeichel, Pallister, Rooney when he left, Andy Cole when he left, Dwight York, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Cristiano when he left, Beckham. He's not a patch on those guys. So and that's what upsets me. Not upsets me, but that's what frustrates me at times, is people thinking the world's going to end if Bruno Fernandes leaves. I've seen multiple, and I'm talking about legends of this club league, multiple legends, multiple world-class players, multiple amazing players leave this club, and guess what? We didn't die. Bruno is a player. He's been a fantastic player. I would not call him a legend of this club. He has been one of our better players. I would put him up there as probably one of the best of the rest. He's not a legend. I wouldn't even say he was one of our world-class players. I wouldn't even say he's a superstar player. What I would say he is the best of the rest. Opinion. I agree. Opus Health is United's new defender Leon looks good at left back for his last club. The problem is he's too young. He needs experience. And as we spoke about, and as I've spoke about, the biggest thing here is that when people are talking and they're clamouring for the likes of Kone to play, Leon to play, all these young players, OB to play, these are the ramifications of not qualifying for the Champions League. These are the ramifications of not beating Grimsby, right? Is the more games you have, the more you can use your players. And because we're only got one game a week, even the FA Cup is not enough. So what we're seeing now, I'm up for it. I'm up for seeing Manu play more. I'm up for seeing Leon play more. But he can't, and he won't give him that time because he knows he needs to win games. So unless injuries happen, we're just not going to get to see them this season. And it wouldn't surprise me if Leon went on loan. If Bruno is to play, he has to be 10 where he's effective. Agree with you. I don't understand, if you weren't going to play Bruno at 10 and sign another 2 number 10s, why you wouldn't sell him and get a specialist CM. I was watching, Mr. F and Scotty. Let's chill. Let's chill. Haaland is unstoppable. 12 games and he scored in every game. I know. We had the opportunity to get Haaland and we didn't take the chance. I think we had 3 chances to sign him. Is Euro too young to start consistently? I suppose if you're good enough, you are old enough, I suppose. Euro was consistently fine. Euro played against Arsenal. Euro, I don't know what happened. It was since the Bruno comment that Euro was dropped, which pissed me off more than anything. Euro is our second best defender, in my opinion. He's better than Luke Shaw. I'm hoping that Euro now comes back into the fold because he's brilliant. What he did at Anfield to come on in that game and look brilliant. He came in cold into a game where the lines had been set, the lines had been drawn. Everyone knew what they were doing. Liverpool were on the ascendancy. To come into a game like that and with such composure, Euro's fantastic. So Jack says nobody wants to sign Osherman. his goals to game ratio is ridiculous. It's true. It's his wage demands, effectively. It's his wages. Get some of these chats. Fergie bought players unknowns, which turned out to be legends. With our young players, one day will be the same. He did buy some good players, but he also bought a load of crap. Jemba Jemba, Obertan, Kleberson, Butner. I mean, there's probably more than that. There was that French defender guy that he bought. He was awful. He played one game. Taibbi was awful. Yeah, he bought a lot of crap as well. Fergie tended to buy when it comes to strikers ready-made. You know, Andy Cole came into the club ready-made. Nistelrooy came into the club, or was sort of made already. Dwight York, Sheringham came into the club already made. Rooney, silly as it sounds, he came into the club ready-made. Cristiano is the one. Giggsy, Cristiano. You can argue Beckham's goals, Giggs. Cantona was ready-made when he came into the club. Schmeichel, you can argue Schmeichel came into the club, but he sort of didn't necessarily make Schmeichel, but he gave him that chance. Vidic, Evra, definitely made those two world class as well. Roy Keane, he came into the side, again maybe not quite as good as he was, but again playing with the likes of Robson, playing with the likes of those players, Mark Hughes, Irwin. Irwin, you could argue that as well. So, it's very rare. It's very rare in football to be able to bring through a crop of players like Nicky Butt, Neville's, Beckham, Giggsy. It's really, really hard. Goal for Dad, first time. Sorry, look. Nothing to be sorry for, my friend. Absolutely nothing at all. 100 mil was the price tag for Bruno. We could have got 2 plays for that. I agree. I want Bruno gone. It upsets the balance. I agree. United can afford it. Is Casemiro not on mental wages? He is. It was terrible business decision. 100 million, 31 giving the money. Bye. I agree. Also buy another keeper. Glad it's not just me thinking about Bruno. No, look, mate, opinions on here are welcome, right? This is not a channel where you haven't, unless it's a disrespectful opinion, which 99% of these are not, right? You can have your opinion. Sometimes I'll agree, but it doesn't mean that my opinion is the be all and the end all. It's just an opinion, and you've got to have your opinion as well. And I agree with you. We would buy young keeper experience. I think you'd have to go for a Romero type. So I think that there's talk of ter Stegen on a free. So I think ter Stegen could be the one that comes in. Bruno good at penalties. He's all right, but says Arsenal, wow. Opus for the health. Casemiro has to take a pay cut if he wants to stay. I want him gone. An experienced keeper would be good for Lamens. He can help him out. Yeah, I agree with that. Casemiro's give him his pension. That's what the club said. Yeah, I did see something along the lines of Casemiro might be getting another contract. I mean, that would be absolutely ridiculous. United will always be shafted when it comes to transfers. It's a big club, so they will be forced to pay over the odds. If they get someone for free, they would just ask for mental wages. What is Ugarte supposed to be? I don't know, mate. Ugarte is supposed to be a defensive midfielder, CM, all-action midfielder. I don't know what he is. I don't. People keep saying Manu as well. Manager obviously sees Cass as his main midfielder. Casemiro is a disaster waiting to happen. People also forget he's 20. Ugarte is not good enough either. And go for that. I've had my opinion on Manu many, many times. What I've said on Manu is that he's 20 years old. I mean, he can be anything he wants to be, even to the point where you still grow physically to the age of 21. Manu is still going to grow a little bit more. We did go through some of his stats today, and some of his stats in terms of that midfield position, what he wants. I can see, and I'm not a big stat guy. I don't always like to look at stats, but sometimes they are handy, and I do have some stats as well actually on Stiller that we'll look at as well. But I can see why he's not being used in the centre midfield position, because I think Amrin wants more of a defensive CM. He should be playing in the Bruno position. That's what he should be doing, because Manu's best position or his best stats are basically carrying that ball into the box and being in the opposition half. That is his best position. He's not the best tackler. He's not the best header. He's very good with ball to feet in that number 10, in that attacking midfield number 10 position. But Bruno is currently playing that position. So I think that's why Manu's not getting into the team, is because Fernandez is in there. Manu should either go on loan in the window or sold. He needs more match time. I think if he's not going to be used as much as I like him, he's 20 years old. I don't like to see young players being sold. I think for the sake of his career, I think he should go. He's a defensive midfielder, isn't that what United like? I don't think he's not Opus. He's not. If you look at Manu's attributes and you look at his stats, he's not a defensive midfielder, mate. His tackling is not great. His interceptions are not great. He doesn't header the ball. He's quite low to the ground. I mean, Manu's 5'9", so he's not the tallest either. But what he is good at, he's good at the ball in the offensive half. He's good at ball to feet. He's good at progressing the ball, carrying the ball forward, and he's better at that Bruno number 8, number 10 position. Gary McDonald says, do you rate Ugarte? I don't rate him, mate. I don't. I like the idea of Ugarte. I do. I really like the idea of him. I don't rate him. I always like to give a player a chance. We are 18 months in, not quite 18 months in now. It's sometimes you can sign a player and he's just not the right fit. Ugarte for me is just not the right fit. I don't think he's not a bad player. We overpaid for Ugarte. I think there's a player there, but I think what Ugarte needs is a run of games. And the problem is we've got one game a week. And whilst Casemiro, as much as again, I don't necessarily rate Casemiro only because he's getting older and he's slower and he can't play like a high line. He is better than Ugarte right now. So I don't dislike Ugarte. I just think that some players haven't worked out. Xerxes falls into that as well. You keep him in the squad this season, and then I think you probably look to move Ugarte on, which I do think he will go. Who can realistically get who's class in midfield other than Anderson and Wharton? So Anderson, for me, we looked at his stats this afternoon, and Anderson's brilliant. For me, he would be the one that I would get over Wharton. I know people are waxing lyrical about him. I do like him. I really do. Belieber for me as well. I still would get Belieber. I'd get Belieber and I'd get Anderson. Scotch right. Robin Van Persie was made already. Wise fan says D Murray was one of our lemons. Van de Beek went on loan. Yeah, we've had so many flops over the years. RVP, that first season was class. I mean, he was Manuccio. I mean, he was. We had what was his name as well? Feng Dong. We had Dong as well, who was Chinese. He was awful. I'll tell you what the problem is. It's the same with me and Rangers. You don't have any guys in the United team that are United men. Exactly, Sir Jackie. Exactly. Agreed. RVP's hat-trick is Villa won us the trophy. Alios says Manu needs to be starting games. I disagree. I disagree. I don't agree with that because every time I've seen him play, I don't, look, the Grimsby game was where he fluffed it. The Grimsby game was his opportunity to show everybody what a big boy he is, what a player he is. I think if he'd have controlled that game, I think we'd be seeing him more. I think he fluffed his lines. I do. I think he totally fluffed his lines. And I don't think at the moment, while Bruno Fernandes is playing, there's a position for him because he's not a six. He's not a defensive midfielder. He's just not. So I ask you, where does he play? The fact that Liverpool, we went there and won. Sunderland, we won. Mainly doesn't get into this team right now. Mainly doesn't get into this team, and I'm worried. I like Mainly. I really, really like him. He's one for the future, but I'm worried because of the first season that he had, and he got into the England team. I think he's going to want to go. I'm a stat guy. I would defo take ter Stegen. The vast experience, would have a role model, someone to learn from and someone to compete with. I agree with you. I think ter Stegen would be good. I do. I think he would be. We tend to spend an entire window on one player only to find that he has decided to join his current club, namely De Jong and Belieber. Yep. Gallagher is an option. Would he leave Atletico? He's not loved there, mate, which I think is really weird. I'll go through some stats as well. Actually, Bloomberg says Ugarte's way too limited to play in the pivot. OpenSale says crap. Just saw Arsenal won against Atletico 4-0. The game goes on around Ugarte. He's a bit of a passenger in this team. I do think he would shine at somewhere like Spurs or Newcastle, just not the right fit for us. Again, I think that's a brilliant analysis. Actually, I do think I think you've summed it up there. I think he's a passenger and not a participant. I saw that pre-season. I watched all the pre-season games, and that's exactly what he was. He was a participant. I think you've summed it up perfectly. I think he's a participant. I think the game passes him by. He doesn't participate. And I think you're right. I think he's a passenger. I do, and I do agree. I think he probably needs to go in a team where he's going to get the ball a lot more. I think he needs. I also think he needs a run of games. I think if he goes to a club where he plays all season, I think you will see him improve and become a better player. And also, you're right. I just don't think he's a good fit. I would go for Anderson. I agree. I'd go for him as well. Grace, legend of the chat. Keep Ugarte for one more season. Sell Bruno and Casemiro. It was, but we took far too long messing about with the price, and we ended up paying what they wanted. Agreed. Midfield overhauls needed. Chris Blade, I agree. 3 in, 3 out. Beefcake, I think Arsenal could win the double, mate. Interesting. I don't know. Arsenal need to break that. Whatever it is that needs to push them over the line, they need to break that. So let's see. I think it's too early to tell, but I think they are. I think they could be prime this season. Golf Dad says, going back to flops, how is it nobody mentioned Dong, Fazu, or Baby? I did mention Dong. I did say Dong. And I didn't mean, Dong. I meant, Dong, Fanzu. Golf Dad, I've only heard of Bebe. Oh my God. At one point there was a rumor, and I don't know if this was like an urban myth, but he was homeless, and he basically got bought on fucking hell. That was a bad day for him. Absolute bad day. I'm dreaming of a 4-3-3. I think you're going to be dreaming for a long time, my friend. Amron seems to like Mount. is he an automatic starter? I don't. He likes Mount, he does, but I think Mount is managed. I don't think Mount is an automatic starter, but I think he's one of the. I think he's one of them. I do think he is, but he won't start automatically. A, because of the injury, and B, I think he uses Mount depending on the game. But the fact he started tells you everything that you need to know. Carl Mark says, "Can you please say hi to my uncle Peter? He's always watching the under." Brilliant, Carl. Brilliant. I love it, mate. Do you think that was going to catch me out, mate? I'm 40 fucking 2 years old, mate. Do you not think? Do you think that's going to catch me out? Tulip plays hi JB. Stillier is a solid midfielder. I take him. Great passer. Brighton will be tough, but if we lock in, we can get the win. I agree with you. Chris, have you seen pigs fly yet? Arsenal will fall off like they always do. Arsenal will do. They normally do. Bottle the last 3 games. Manu needs a Palace, a Brighton, or even a Villa move. I think that's good. Mount is either trusted or almost trusted. Bebe was Carlos. Yeah, he was. And if I remember, likely another helmet and questionable assistant manager. He was all right. He was all right. He went to manage Madrid, didn't he? But he definitely dropped the ball on that one. Mountain is also a player that can score late in games and save us. McTominay was like that. Revel Morrison was fantastic. The only thing that stopped him was him, wasn't it? I mean, when you got the likes of Paul Pogba in awe of him because he was that good, it tells you. I thought that was a massive waste of talent. I thought he was a magnificent player, just ruined by the lifestyle. So before I go, I just wanted to give you the Steeler stuff as well. So basically, 50 million for Steeler. I think that's euros. So I don't know what that works out to be. I think 42 million pounds. There is still a clause that Stuttgart can basically activate that basically says that they can take out that clause and they can put up the price. So 43 million pounds. So who is Stiller? So let's go through some of his stats. I've got the Gallagher stats as well, so we can look at both of these stats together. So Stiller first. So let's look at some of these stats. So when we're just some quick ones. So when we're looking at total shots, for example, Connor is 1.24 per game, puts him in the 68th percentile. Angelo Stiller is 0.67, but I expect that. Assists 0.29 versus 0.18, which puts Stiller in the 97th percentile. Which obviously, when we're talking about percentiles, 100% is the highest. Assist wise, Connor is about 86th percentile. When you're talking about XAG, expected assisted goals, Stiller is in the 97th percentile for that at 0.2. Connor is 0.07, so 50th percentile. XG and PXG, 0.31 for Stiller, which puts him in the 91 percentile. Connor is 0.21, which puts him in the 69th. Shot created actions per game, Angelo Stiller is 4.29, the 95th percentile. And these percentiles are basically based on every single league, by the way. Shot creation chances from Connor is 1.79 per game. Now, passes attempted per game, Stiller is 85.12, which he's in the 97th percentile of all leagues. Onyaba says, hi, hello, my friend. Conor Gallagher, passes attempted 48.54, which is 51%. Passes completed 86.6%, which puts him in the 68th percentile. And Conor Gallagher is 87.3, which puts him in the 74th percentile. Progressive passes for Stiller, 9.78, which is 99 percentile across all leagues. Progressive passes for Conor Gallagher is 3.77, which puts him at 27. Progressive carries 1.47 for Stiller at 66th percentile. Now this is where Gallagher is a bit better. So progressive carries 1.79, 79th percentile. Successful take-ons 0.67 for Stiller at 58. 0.92 as the 80th percentile for Conor Gallagher. Touches in the attacking penalty box 1.60 for Stiller, 69th percentile. 2.39 for Gallagher at the 87th percentile. Progressive passes recorded 2.13 for Stiller at 62, and progressive passes recorded 3.59 in the 85th percentile for Conor Gallagher. Now, again, this is interesting as well. In terms of tackles, Stiller is 1.47 per game. That's the 16th percentile. That's not great. Tackles by Conor Gallagher, 2.12, 56th percentile. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So, interceptions per game, Stiller is 0.88, the 41 percentile. Interceptions by Conor Gallagher is 1.75. That puts him in the 96th percentile across all leagues. And again, blocks for both are quite low, 0.99, 1.2. So Conor Gallagher and Stiller are very, very similar players. Very, very similar players. Now, where Stiller, I think, absolutely is better, is definitely better in assists, definitely better in those shot-creating actions. But Conor Gallagher is better in terms of interceptions and tackles, where Stiller is absolutely better. It is basically passes attempted, pass completion, progressive passes, but then Conor comes back in progressive carries, take-ons, touches. So I think, would you pay 50 million for Stiller? So Gallagher, again, if we could get him on loan, I think those are two interesting options for me. Let me go back to the chat, see what you're saying in there. Pogba could have been the best box-to-box in the world if things played out differently. Let's have a little look. £43 million. Fergie pulled Real and Scholes in to train in the youth and said he was better than Scholes. His lifestyle killed his career. Wanted to be a bad boy. Shame. I don't know the ins and outs of the people around him, but yeah, I mean he was fantastic. Stiller is quality. Pogba could have been best box to box. I think he messed it up, mate. So given the choice of three players, Anderson, Stiller or Belieber, out of the three, which one would you pick to strengthen our spine? There can be only one. Anderson for me. I think Anderson can do what Stiller can do, but better. I think he's not as good a tackler as Belieber, but I think he's good enough. I think his all-round game is better. It's far superior. I've got the stats down there, far superior. So I think as an all-round midfielder who could improve this spine, I'd go for Anderson every day of the week. I was talking about Morrison in my last comment. Anderson was underrated. Injuries, mentality, and the fact he didn't have a Pirlo at his side was why Pogba didn't work. I could look like a world beater with a Pirlo at my side. So go through this again. Chris Thomas says, look at these rats out off their caves using effing man cunts. How the snow. What? What, Chris? What are you talking about, mate? Chris, I like to give people a chance. We're not that sort of channel, mate. You don't need to come on here and start having a pop at people. Mate, I like to give people a chance. I don't know what you're saying there, mate, but I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. I hope you've got that off of your chest, and I hope you feel better now. You've spewed your toxicity, my friend. The new Brighton player, yeah. Carl, you're still not going to get me, mate. Still not going to get me. There's a few players what I love to have seen at United. Kaka, Inzaghi, and Pirlo. Ronaldinho as well. I think he would have been one as well. Zidane was one as well, mate. Zidane early doors. We could have got him as well. Imagine Pirlo in the Karl Marx. You are funny. You are funny. Rashford scored 2 tonight. Funny, he played up front and he used to moan about wanting to play on the left. Chris Thomas, mate, I genuinely don't know. Chris, are you having a bad night? Or look, we have so many good rival fans on here. As I always say at the top of the show, we don't mind banter and I don't mind people being in here, right? But you genuinely, mate, you don't need to be offensive. This is not the sort of channel. I'm not a sort of channel that's going to come back at you. The chat will, because the chat have every right to come back at you now because you've come on here, mate. I don't know why you're so angry. You don't need to be angry. I just don't know, mate. Stephen Gerrard, Fraser says, Stevie G was a great player, mate. I come, Scotty, mate, have at it. Scotty, you look. If someone's going to come on and act like that, mate, Scott, you all day long. Karl Marx says, "Oh, Carl, you crack me up, mate. You really do." He's definitely a Scouse fan, trying because Van Dijk is better at twerking. I saw that as well. I saw that. I did see Van Dijk's twerk. I don't know. I genuinely don't know why, people just have to behave like that. It is ridiculous, but yeah. The guys, on that note, somebody put a chat in there that I can end the show on, because I don't want to end it on some Wally who's obviously been drinking something. Scott, I'm going to end it on that. Great channel, bedtime. Cheers, mate. Legend, thank you for being here. I agree with you, my friend. Thank you so much. So I'm going to... Scott, I'm ending it on your comment, mate, because I'm not going to say it, but that is hilarious. Do expectations for the next game. Okay, fine. Okay, so before I go, one of my expectations for the next game before I go, I think Manny Bat says Maguire. Welcome, my friend. I think my next expectations for the game is I think that we beat Brighton, I think we beat Forest, and I think we draw with Spurs. And that's what I think we do. So I will be back tomorrow, guys. I planned to do a quick show tonight, but these shows always crack me up. We made it out of another rabbit hole again, people. We do. Godfrey says we have to win the next 3 for the poor lad who needs the haircut. Sign off on that. Haha. Agree. Great show. Have a good night and a better Wednesday. You too. I will be back tomorrow at some point. I will be back tomorrow. I won't be back tomorrow night because I'm traveling early on Thursday. So tomorrow afternoon, I'll do another show. Legends, guys. I'm in Malaysia. We know Liverpool fans, but after this winning, walk alone. See you tomorrow, guys. Yeah, guys, have an amazing rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Amazing. Thank you for being here, guys. You guys do make the channel amazing. And this channel is nothing without you guys. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at some point. Brilliant, guys. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. So take care, and I'll see you on the next one. See you soon.